back with Mac for session number 2. I want to talk about a couple things. First of all, with his last session, he started to, almost like it was magic, he understood how to stop instantly. Well, what that is more of a sign of feeling a little bit uncomfortable with that belly collar on. So for this session, we're going to put a little more focus on him just being comfortable, and that may be all we do today. We'll kind of see how he bounces through this. The next thing is, we're doing this more with a conditioning method. We're going to start applying stimulation on the collar, but at a level that he can feel, but that he can work with. He already understands when I say, whoop, whoa, that he means to stop. We need to teach him and collar condition him to be able to stay there longer. So we're going to do this with a conditioning method. Again, we're going to put his belly collar on. Cinching it to be within a couple fingers can fit in here. And the other side of it too, when we used pigeons with Mac, he stopped chasing the pigeons. The only reason we're using those pigeons is to help keep him moving. If he won't move, then we don't know that we won't know that he has an understanding of how to stop when we ask for it. So we're going to use a bumper and just play fetch with him. Pigeons work for most dogs. That's where we start. If that doesn't work, then we're going to use something else. I got wind in my eye or something. All right, so we've got Mac. He and I are going to play fetch. Ready? Up. Up. And if we need to, we may get our dummy launcher out. That's even more exciting for him. Good boy. Yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Good boy. Good boy. Good. Now, he's run around a little bit. I'm going to check this. A lot of dogs puff up, and I want to show this here. I had cinched that down to where I could only get a couple fingers in, but naturally, and this is the same thing that happens with horses, but he puffed up his abdomen because it feels different, and now I can put my whole hand in here. So do a couple retrieves or help him move around a little bit, and then cinch it back down to where we can only get that 2-3 fingers in that. And the reason for that is to make sure that we actually have contact with the contacts of the e-collar. Same reason that has to be snug on their neck. So we are good here. Oh, and we're gonna play that. Up. Atta boy. Good boy.
And I'm just reiterating that you are not using any e-collar stimulation on his belly at this time.
Not at all. We're just helping him to feel more comfortable. Up. Get out here so you don't miss that. Up. Now we've got a couple things going on here today. Today is a new training session. Now you can see right here, Matt, this is something that I need to work on with him a little bit. He is coming past me and doing a little parading with his retrieves. We're going to work on that in a different session. You can't work on everything at once, but at the same time, I'm going to try and help work on everything at the same time. The important part is that he's moving around right now. But you can see different things that are happening. Whatever a dog is doing, they're conditioning themselves to. So we do need to try and pay attention to his retrieves. I don't want him to swing around behind me, so I'm going to make a note of that up here. That's something else that we need to put a little more time and focus on with Max retrieving. Today is a little bit cooler. We are only a couple minutes into a training session as opposed to 7, 8, 10 minutes, and Mac went for a little run, and I didn't have his collar on. We made sure those things were right today. Mac, right? Yeah. We made sure that those things were right today, and we have a dog that's a little more pumped up and ready to work. Now, I'm going to, and I think that he's ready. He feels very comfortable with the collar. I'm going to start running that collar on the lowest level. 1. When I ask him to whoa before I throw the bumpers for him. As soon as he stops moving his feet, the collar shuts off. And that's how we're going to use a conditioning method to teach him how to shut the collar off by stopping. Over a few repetitions and the conditioning process of this, he's going to get to the point where I can just push the button and he will stop. When he's stopping to the collar, then we're ready to move forward to transitioning from the belly collar here to him stopping with the neck collar. So I will tell you when I'm using the collar, otherwise we're just going to continue to play fetch with Mac. Okay. Collar. There it is. Whoa. Now, the collar probably wasn't as tight. Okay. Wasn't as tight yesterday, but on the lowest level, he showed he was feeling it, and some dogs are going to do that. Here. Good. Some dogs are going to buck around like that. They're trying to get away from the stimulation. That's why we stay, I explained before, dogs are a little more sensitive on their stomach, but we want to stay on the low level. And as soon as he stopped moving, the collar shut off. And it allows us to work through that he can shut the collar off by not moving his feet. That's what we're trying to teach here. Okay. Good. Ready? Whoop. Good. And the collar was there again. Less of a response. The first one might have been a little bit of an overreaction because it startled him more than anything. Up.
And we've still got movement, which is great.
Good boy. We're going to do just a couple more reps with him. Good. Better. Good boy. Good boy. Again, he's moving. We're on his belly collar. Come on. Whoop. Whoop. As soon as he stops, collar shuts off. Whoa. Up. Boy.
You could kind of see on that last one, he thought about maybe sitting down, and Ethan was going to go try and help him stand back up, but as soon as he moved towards him, Mac stood all the way back up. So that's what we want. We don't want to confuse sit and whoa, so there needs to be a distinction between those two things.
Whoop. Whoop. Whoa. Perfect. Up.
And that was a lot better reaction to the collar. He stopped moving a lot sooner.
Boy. Now to fix this retrieving, I started to just cut him off, which is going to help a little bit of that parading.
And kind of snag him on the way by.
Snag him on the way by. See if we can eliminate that bad habit. Now, I'm going to call that it for his training session today. I want to show you a few other dogs though. I've got 4 other dogs that are at about the same point. 2 of them, this will be their first day of whoa training. 2 of them, this will be their second session, so they're about the same spot that he started today. I'm going to run and grab those dogs. We're going to rotate them pretty quickly, doing a few reps with each, just so that you can see a little bit of difference with a few different dogs.
And again, I'm left here with no app on my phone for elevator music. So, more about that whoa training coming up. If you guys have questions, make sure to ask them in the comments, either now during the live video or later when you guys have a chance to watch it, and we will get back to those questions and answer them as best as we can, either right through the comments or through another updated video. Where are we located? We are located Pretty Prairie, Kansas, so just west of Wichita, Kansas, south of Hutchinson, Kansas. I could sing. No, I could not. Otherwise, any of the viewers that we have now would jump right off and stop watching this live video. So Ethan's coming back here with Rosie.
Good girl, come here. Rosie. Put her collar on. Easy there, Bronco. Do the same thing here. check it after a few reps. Rosie really likes pigeons. So we'll do this. Whoop. Whoa. Up. She gets to take off and chase. When she comes back, we're going to check her belly collar and make sure that it's tight enough. Good girl. Rosie. Feels good. I overcompensated, expecting she was going to puff out, and it's probably a smidgen too tight. Now, go again. The intensity, the anticipation. Get rid of this bumper.
Almost lost a homer.
Almost lost a homer. Rosie. All right, so she's going to feel up. On her way back, she's going to feel stimulation on her belly. As soon as she stops, collar's going to shut off. Whoop. Whoop. Collar shuts off the second she stops. Up. So we'll be able to condition through a few reps. Coming back here. Whoop. Good. Every dog's a little bit different. She shows no feeling at all on level 1, so we'll probably go to a level 2 on her. Up.
Whew.
Almost lost another homer. This is a bad day to be a homer.
These homers are acting like they have a death wish today. And Rosie's pretty quick.
Whoop. Up. We'll do a couple more reps here.
And this is Rosie's second session, just so that people know where she's at with the woe training side of things.
Collar on. Stop. Whoa. Up. We're going to call that it for her session. I'm going to grab another dog when she comes back around. Good. Rosie.
Question is, how old is Rosie?
That's a very good question. 7-8 months range. Somewhere in that vicinity.
I'd have to double check her records for when she came in. She is still a puppy, though, in that puppy age for sure. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed on that last woe that Ethan did, he was using the collar, turned it on before he used the verbal cue woe, and that's where he had explained that once you see them stopping with the collar when you use the word woe, if you can use the collar to stop them without woe, that's showing that they really are starting to have an understanding of what the belly collar means and not just reacting solely to the verbal cue. And then he reinforced with the verbal woe after that. So she's definitely making really nice progress, and she loves to chase those pigeons. Anybody got big plans for the weekend? We are going to be going to Pheasant Fest in Sioux Falls. We'll be at the DT Systems booth. So if anybody wants to stop by, say hi, check us out, meet Vex. He'll be there with us as well.
All right, next little ball of fire we've got is named Scout. We can do the same thing. She also loves to chase pigeons. Okay. When she gets back, we're going to double check her collar. Scout. 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 I know, all the pigeons. All right. We are pretty good with her. I did a good job on that one. Woo-hoo. All right. Alright, so she's going to feel 1 on the collar. Whoop. She stops, collar shuts off. Up. We'll have the pigeon ready. Maybe.
She's coming back pretty quick.
Whoa. Up. Alright, feeling collar. Now, whoop. So she stops, collar shuts off. Whoa. Up.
And she stopped a lot farther away from Ethan that time, which was good that we're being able to stop her farther and farther away.
Whoop. Up.
Ethan also was able to make a little bit of movement on his side of things, taking a few steps.
Whoa. Whoa.
Walking around a little bit, and her still staying steady,
Up.
which is showing a lot of improvement. This is also Scout's second session.
Yep. Good girl. Yeah, good girl.
Oh, and a feather.
Good. I'm going to grab a couple more dogs in just a second.
So, more small talk. Like I said, we'll be at the DT Systems booth at Pheasant Fest this coming weekend. So stop by, say hi. You can ask us questions about the collars or training or anything that you'd really like to know. And we'd be more than happy to answer those questions. While he walks around, is the collar on? While the dog walks around? I'm confused. Tyler, sorry if I don't understand your question. Maybe I understand it now. So when Scout is running around, the collar is not on until Ethan says whoa. As soon as he says whoa, the collar turns on, and the stimulation stays on until Scout stops moving or until any of the dogs stop moving. Once their 4 feet stop moving, then the collar shuts off. Oh, while Ethan walks around. See, I didn't understand the question. No, once Scout stops moving, the collar shuts off. Ethan can take some steps, move around. Now, if Scout would move again, the collar would turn back on. So these next puppies coming out aren't really to that point, so I don't know if we're going to be able to show that, but he can explain that a little bit more too. If you have more questions, we can, obviously Mac isn't quite to that level, so his next live video, hopefully he'll be to that point where we can stop him with the collar a little bit more and then start moving around. And we want to be able to continue moving around a little bit while the dog is still standing there, because once we get to the field, we're going to be kicking around and trying to flush birds, and that dog has to stand steady through those things. They only get to move when the bird flushes, so they're not... And here comes Cannon. They're not getting to move when we're, walking up to flush the bird, so they're going to have to stand steady until they're released or until that bird flushes.
Here we have Cannon. Cannon is between 6 and 7 months old. And this will be his second session as well. He's running around plenty here, so we're going to just double check and make sure his is tight enough. Not anywhere close. Snug it down a little bit. Good, okay. Same story here. Cannon also loves pigeon. Up. Get this next pigeon ready. You'll feel collar. Whoa. Up.
So he stopped from a long way off.
Gonna feel. He's ready for this one. Up. Come on.
So he was
collar.
anticipating the collar at that point.
Up. Again here before he stops. Whoop. Up. We're ready again here. Whoop.
Oh, and I don't know if we can quite see him out there, and he's behind a clump of grass. So let me see if I can move a little bit. Can you guys see him out there? He's way out there. Oh, there he goes. right now Cannon is stopping himself, kind of what we were seeing with Mac, and we need him to move so that we can stop him.
Good. All right, we'll make this his last rep here. Collar's on and off. Whoop. Whoa. Up. You've been able to see it the most with him due to his intensity level, but using pigeons and using a conditioning method with the collar this way allows us to cross that barrier that a lot of people struggle with low training, which is getting them to stop further away and handle further away faster. I've got one more dog I'm going to show you, and then we will be done for today.
So Cannon's doing awesome. Jess, it looked like you had a question or a comment. I like Ethan's comment. Sorry, my camera thing is hard to read all the comment where he said whatever dogs are doing, they're conditioning themselves to, when he was talking about the scrolling around with Mac. Yeah, so anything that the dogs do, either in training or just around the house, that you allow them to do repetitively, they are conditioning themselves to. That can be anything from, you know, letting the puppy jump up on you all the time and giving them love and attention for it. Well, you're conditioning that, hey, this is how I get attention, by jumping up on people. Or the only way I get attention is by acting like a wild, crazy animal, because every time I'm squirreling around and being crazy, that's when my mom and dad are putting their hands on me and loving on me. So this is a good thing. The same can be said about training situations. If we keep letting Mac blow by us and parade around with those retrieves, he's going to just continue conditioning those responses.
Come on. Axel, come on, let's go. This is Axel, and Axel is coming on a year old. This is Axel's second session. We're going to double check here. See? Again, we're probably a little bit too loose. Tighten up just a smidgen. Good. Okay. Same thing. Axel loves to chase birds. Good. Up. On his way back, he's going to feel the collar. Hear the cue. As soon as he stops, the collar's going to shut off. Whoa.
I might have to back up and get at a different angle to be able to see all of this. With both Cannon and Axel, they're stopping quite a ways away from you. And I kind of want to be able to show that.
Axel really likes to chase pigeons. Whoop. Whoa. Up. It's a really good example of whoa. Whoop. Whoa. Up. It's a really good example of a dog that loves to chase birds.
And we got a bark out of him. He's super excited about this game.
Come on. Whoop. Whoa. Felt collar. Heard the cue. As soon as he stopped, the collar shut off. Whoa.
I was able to move around him a little bit. So the first two times that Axel kind of slowed up there, he was not feeling the collar. He was anticipating stopping. That time he felt the collar and he stopped. He was still looking around at that other pigeon, so wasn't quite focused on us yet, and we were able to use the collar to stop him.
We'll go ahead and call him back to us.
Another bark, bark, bark.
Bark, bark, bark. Give a dog that's learning whoa and is excited about it. Axel, Axel, Axel. Ah, Axel. Good boy. So, there's session number 2. You get to see it with several different dogs. Some of them picked up on stopping further and further away faster. Others felt the collar till they got in closer and then stopped. But ultimately, we have dogs that are good at watching birds. We have dogs that are excited about and picking up on, through a conditioning method, how to stop with the collar and pick up on the cue whoa. We will show you the next couple sessions, and we'll be back with you soon.